Well, welcome back to the Game 3 channel, everybody. We got another deck list here, a very special deck list, a first place top here from James, one of our newest team members. He was holding out on us, saying that he wanted to do well at an event before he joined the team. And this guy took the entire event. So here's the deck he's taking it with. This is the Niagara Falls Regional from Carta Magica on Labor Day weekend. And James, congrats, and let's see what this deck list is.
Thank you a lot. Yeah, I took Cell, the same old green Cell that we've all grown to know and love, but he's not changed much at all. It's just the new promo they released, which we'll get into, that makes him really viable.
Oh yeah, that's anything that has hand control with green, where you can get a little promo here and there, does wonders for a deck. And this Cell, that promo does a lot.
I agree. It puts in more work than I think everything else. But if we go right into her, the one drop that everybody really knows is the 17. Basically a top 5 for any Android. It also lets you awaken with the main. That's the main reason you would run it, is so it can help you get your awaken off.
Yep.
I guess I should put it up here. The next one drop that we do run, it's just that old Chrysalis. Everybody seems to know how this package works now, but if you don't, you just pay one and play him. The best part about him is it allows a lot of synergy with regards to the promo, and that's really the star of the show, so we might as well get right into him. He takes the most. So that's the promo. He basically has an auto, so your leader, when you activate the main on the front or the back side to tuck an android underneath it, his auto will trigger. It allows you to search your deck for 2 1-drops. Now, the 1-drops are pending on the matchups, but you get to grab up to 2. And if you grab them, you have to pitch regardless, but it still allows you to fix your hand in a way most decks don't. He does have some other effects, so like you pay 1, you can bottom deck a card from hand to play him. And when you do that play, it allows you to play a 1-drop Cell. So that's why we would play the Chrysalis. It lets you recoup that draw that you just bottom decked with. He also does KO on play. So there's a lot of synergies that work with him. The main thing is pending on your matchup. So the 1-drop that I think is the MVP is this Android 17. Funny enough, I hated this card about 3 weeks ago, and after talking with Beer from Game 3, he basically sold me on it, and he's 100% right. If you play Kidku or you play SS4 and you don't have the perfect hand, you can stall out using this by searching it off the promo to give you a turn 1 negate. It also fixes your drop, which allows you to use other things like the Piccolo that we all know about. It does so much for the deck in too many good ways.
Yeah, just being able to search out a negate from your deck just blindly from that, where you're just like, yeah, just 1-drop. And it's like, oh, here's a 17.
Exactly, and you can do all of this turn 1 without using an energy, so it really does stall out those decks that need that Z energy. Just activate main, I'll grab my 1-drop negate, leave the energy open, and pass. That was a huge reason why I was able to do well in the final round. Travis Holmes, shout out to him, he did very good, and wow, that was a really good match, but this is the only reason that I was able to take it. Now, next on the Android docket, we do have the 3-drop. It just gets played off of a KO. We usually use the 5/6 drop to KO anything, and then play the 3-drop. It does have a main to tuck it underneath the leader and draw one. You usually use that more than swinging with it, even though it's crit, but early game, if you can sneak a crit in, it always feels good.
Well, that's the funny thing, because all this can just happen turn 1. Like, so it's just like, yep, here's your crit guy. You can wake yet? No, have fun.
And that's it really helps, especially if people hold you off by not charging to 3. You at least have another route to take as well. Now the boss monsters, there's basically the 3. The first one is the father-son. It really is like the generic green boss monster. It does everything you want a battle card to do for about 2 energy. You're making them pitch, removing barrier. There is too much value to not run the card. And then after that, we usually would go into Bojack. Now, Bojack I find to be kind of like the hidden gem. So if you have a Gohan out and they remove it, and you don't have a way to do your successor with the Gogeta, the Bojack really is the best thing for you. Turn 4, you just play it. It can get rid of a token negate, get rid of any battle card just on play, like with the main. And then you can successor him without even swinging to make your opponent pitch 2 or KO 2 things ignoring barrier.
Yeah.
Gogeta really is the finisher.
Yeah, no, that Bojack too, like you were saying, it's the activate main. It doesn't even need to hit the board at all to just, I pop something and then I'll play this after. And just for 1 energy, just remove anything. Obviously, it doesn't go through barrier, but still super, super good. Also, being a 0/5 helps not clogging your hand.
100%. Like Father Son and Bojack being 0/5, they both feed Explosive Dance very well. They don't clog the hands. There's not a downside to them. But Gogeta, I think it's one of the best finishers in the deck. I always found myself using the discard 2. I think once in the entire event I used the swing twice, and that was only because the opponent was at 1 life, and I just needed that extra swing. And super combo, we do run Paragus. He's basically the same as always. The draw 2, warp 1. I think it's the best because the deck does try to push a little bit of aggression, and they don't really like to wait till you have 4 or less life to super combo, but if you can fix your hand and also warp away the stuff that doesn't matter, it works out okay. 20. This is the same old Champa that got banned, but still alive for Cell for some reason.
Yeah, there's a few decks and Black Sands because they got Kraken Space Time, but yeah, this one's just a special something.
It's searchable. It does too much.
Searchable, and on your crit leader, just a nice cracking with your double crit to really mess with your opponent.
It does feel good when you do get it off. Bardock really pulls the deck together. I do think that it's still the best Unison for the deck. Kidku being around does make it harder. I found not playing the Unison really helped, at least till I could either pay 3 for it or ensure that he didn't have the opportunity to hit me with that beautiful Bunny Girl Chatsu or one or the other.
No, it's definitely a good call, especially if you're running a hand control deck, right? When people want it in a meta where everyone wants to get their Z energy, they're gonna have to pay an extra card from hand that could have been saved for later. But no, see you later. Every turn, it's one of the Unisons that have stood the test of time, even after Black Smoke and all these things where Unisons were just phased out, and now that they're back, this guy's still running around like a, I was gonna say like a menace, but it's worse than that. That's that auto just ruins, like, especially Blue Boo. Like, trying to play Blue Boo into that Unison is ridiculous.
Well, and like the auto itself is amazing. In the green mirror, I played a mirror matchup. He goes to combo SDR. You just say, nope, we're gonna auto that. It keeps you safe from those niche situations where you're like, if I didn't have this Unison in play, it was any other Unison, it was gone. And the main reason I enjoy it is that +1, actually, more than the auto. The deck does inherently play 1-drops. You can negate with your 17, you can play the cell for free off the promo. So off the promo play for paying 1, you're going to bottom deck a card, play your 1-drop, KO something. If you can, you'll play this for free. If you can't, that's fine, you're going to play this for free from the drop area, and then you'll draw 1 off of it. You can +1 on the Bardock, and then now you're just making a hard -1 for your opponent that didn't cost you anything really.
Exactly.
We do run Charismatic, and then I think the MVP counterplay is Bujin. If you don't know about Bujin, you really need to hop on that train. This is, again, huge shout out to Beer. He really helped with a lot of these tech choices, and this is one of his many great ones. You just stop with 2 or less from coming into play, and this really saves you against those terrible floodgates.
And the only restriction is it's limit 1. Like the other equivalents, like Focus Breakthrough, you need to be at 4 or less, and then Dodoria, you need to have a Unison in play. So if they get rid of your Bardock, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, exactly. He's the answer now for it, and he pulls his weight, especially into Kidku. Then we do have the Majin Buu negate. Now, I only run 1 Bupo. I think it's a great card in certain matchups, but I also found myself never wanting to pay the cost of 2 for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I did not play Buko once in the entire tournament, to be honest.
Easy to side out then.
Exactly. But then we go into King Piccolo. He's kind of an MVP in himself. Most decks that are not Saiyan struggle with that negate department. He picks up the slack. The other thing that I really like about him in this deck is because of 17, I can negate with 17 on turn 1, and I can choose to place a 4 or less android in the drop. So I would pitch my 3 drop usually, or this 1 drop. And that feeds the drop for Piccolo to be live turn 2, turn 3.
Damn. Yeah, no, that's pretty smart.
Then we go into our tokens. This is something, again, this is a tech choice by Beer. This is all him. I hated tokens for the longest time. I thought they were phased out. People are still playing Kid 2, red's still a thing, and if it's a red Saiyan, you gotta be wary of the Vegito unit SCR. So this is genuinely the only answer we have to it. If you see this and you're playing red, you just hang on to it for dear life.
Hey, it's true.
Dormant, everybody knows what Dormant does. Just your friendly neighborhood floodgate.
Good call. Friendly, I don't know if that would be the word for it, but it's something.
It is. Then we would go into EDK. I actually EDK'd, I think, once in the entire tournament. I found myself siding this card out a lot. It is very good. It's great, but in today's meta where they draw so much, one choice discard is only good around after turn 4. I always see this card turn 1 or 2.
Good old energy.
Exactly. The next 4 are pretty much just the tech slots. Blue Impulse, I think this is an amazing card. It came in clutch against Kid Ku. It came in extremely well against Vegex as well. It allows you to just pay 1 energy if your opponent plays a battle card on your turn, and you just clear their board. So if they play a token negate, you still wipe their board, and that's something that I caught a few people off guard of with, is just pay 1, wipe your board, and there goes your blocker.
That's really good.
And then we do have the Son Goku Valiant Breakthrough. It's just the activate main when you have a cell with energy cost of 5, I believe. 4 or more, you get to tap one of your opponent's cards. So you just tap their energy, and that kind of lets you ensure the victory.
Disgusting.
It is. Secret ID, that would be the overwhelm of choice. I still stand by this. It's amazing. Warping anything that is up to a cost of 6 is huge. It lets you hit tokens, lets you hit those little things that just really are annoying.
No, 100%. Secret ID, I think, is still the overwhelm king. Obviously, there's side deck choices, but Secret ID kind of messes with every deck that is kind of meta relevant right now.
I agree. Like, Tapion Kid 2, they just can't recover from 1 or 2 of these in a game. The last spot is the SCR. This is a funny spot because I only have Cellmax here, but this is not the SCR I played for the regional. This was the SCR I was going to play, and I didn't own a Purunga. Then, again, shout out to Beer, the captain of Game 3. He really came clutch for me. He let me borrow his Purunga, and that's the SCR that I took. Now, I only played Purunga once in the entire regional, but it mattered when I played it. It was the deciding factor in the game, and I was very happy to have Purunga and not Cellmax. I don't think there was one time in the entire regional I was like, I wish I had Cellmax. Even Solzino. Neither of them would have just did what was needed.
What was the situation with Purunga that it came up clutch for you?
Believe it or not, it was with Vegex. The Vegex player played very well. He left 2 energy up, and he did not charge his 3rd for 2 turns, and that held me back. Can't play Father Son, can't do the Gogeta, so I was really just stalling out there, so I used the 6 drops for pressure. I ended up getting him down to, I want to say it was 3 life on his turn 4, but he only had 2 energy. And then when he went into his turn 5, he did charge finally. That charge allowed me to play Father Son, but he left 3 energy up after that. So he literally charged and passed with like 2 or 3, I believe 3 energy open. and I Perunga to rest all 3 energy and then swim with Father Sun for good.
So much for stalling in the energy.
Literally, like, and if I didn't have Perunga, he had the negates, he had the hand, he probably would have survived, and I would have died on the track back. Salmax would not have been able to get through. He had 3 negates in hand. He had Protector of the People. He had Petrification. He had all the answers he needed.
Damn.
But yeah,
Perunga,
that's really the main board.
Yeah, SCR of choice, I guess.
It really is.
No,
I found it to be the most useful.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess let's see that side deck. Or sorry, the Z deck. I keep forgetting we got a second deck in the game now. Let's see that Z deck and what you were running for your choices on it. I know some people are running like tech choices, especially Excel, something that came before a Z deck was even in the game.
Yes.
So you have a lot more flexibility because you don't need any of your archetype cards in there.
Well, to be fair with you, the Z deck is the one thing I'm the most embarrassed about. I came with the most unprepared Z deck I could have done for the regional.
And you won, so who the fuck cares?
I suppose, but we brought the 2 Limit Ultras. These are amazing. I didn't play it though. I brought Bardock. Now he's, I think, out of all 10 cards in the Z deck, I played him the second most.
And he only had 1 copy.
1 copy. He was basically, if I didn't see a Unison and I needed to dormant on an early turn for free, and I'm like, I just need to have it out there. Or the real reason he came in clutch was that pitch 1. I was able to use my Bardock I had on board, make them pitch 1 off a 1-drop, swing, make them combo 2 cards in hand off the auto, pay 2, 1 for this Bardock, and then used his ±0 to pitch a Z and make him pitch another card.
Damn. Okay.
That's the real utility. 2 Friezas, never played them. I wish I had Oolong, the DBR. I think that would be a much better choice, but I had them, and yeah, they're there. We got Bojack. Now, I have Bojack in here because originally I was going to run Selmax. He allows me to blow Selmax up. That's a cliche and nice situation, but we didn't run Selmax. Never played him either. I needed 10 cards in the Z deck. I wasn't comfortable bringing not 10, so I did bring Golden Frieza. I run Unisons. We can reduce the cost. Never played it. I could have played it once. There was one time, and I chose not to play it. Instead, we chose to go with the MVP of the Z deck, Broly's. I played both of these in 2 games. This is the most played card of the Z deck. It is amazing.
Yeah, no, 1 energy double strike and pop and shit. It's it's gonna be up there.
It really is. I found this to be the best choice. And then the last one is a Jiren, just in case I ran into a Topo or something that I needed to actually deal with a Unison. He would have been the choice there.
Nice. Hey, the smattering of Z deck, you still had some nice options in there. Obviously, the Broly and Bardock probably took the most of it, but hey, it worked 100%. For you.
It did. Thank God. The side deck, it's probably where most of the work really got put into. A lot of the choices, everything that's in the side deck, I think, is here for a reason. We have the Majin Exterminator. Green does struggle against green. We like to hand control. We don't like to be hand controlled. That's why true. That's there. The SGR. So I mainboarded this for the longest time. After discussions and talks, we came to the conclusion that this would be the better option to be in the side. Few decks you actually need to matter and care about their Unison, and the decks that you would side this in for, like SS4, or even you ended up playing Vegex or something that does rely on that Unison. We had a Sin Xeno come top 16, so like anything where that Unison's just sitting there and you're like, I need to remove it, no more advantage, that's why you'd run it. Big Amor, this came in clutch. This is the only reason I was able to win the mirror, I think. It was funny. Justin Beatty, he did very well. He played Cell, I played Cell. He Big Amored me first, I Big Amored him, and then he actually Big Amored me again on the following turn. We weren't able to do much. I luckily was playing hand destruction.
Yeah, that's the stall matchup right there.
Literally. We big and moored and dormanted each other for 3 or 4 turns, and then it went on for a while, but this is the MVP against green. This also came in clutch against SS4. Being able to just pay 2 and deny them on your turn is huge. It doesn't allow them to even want to go into their bigger guys. Then we have Demidra. That's again there for SS4. That's a matchup that is probably one of the hardest, it and Kidku. I find this to be great, but I actually never used it. I did side it in the final round, and we didn't see it. We seen Bigamore instead.
Good thing they work in tandem.
Exactly. Coits, they speak for themselves. This actually helped me out a lot in one matchup, but that's really all. Coits is Coits. Hunt, I love this card. I think this card is underrated, but in the mirror matchup, I sided it. If I seen it, I would have been able to chill a turn earlier. It thankfully didn't matter, but it's amazing into decks like blue and green that require those sparking negates or free negates.
Of course. You got to make sure they're scared. As soon as you hit one of them off, it's just like, okay, we're never doing this again. No, I'm not negating. We're paying energy here.
Well, and it works counterintuitive. I will never do it for free now after turn 3 against red or turn 4 because I play Hunt. Now the Overwhelm Fully Unleashed Bardock. This is another good tech choice. This is courtesy of Beer. He's done a lot of play testing against these decks, and I wasn't 100% convinced, and he sold me on it. If you end up playing that, what's that deck? Fu?
Yep.
Or Gogeta, or even Sin. So like those Shadow Dragons, the yellow Shadow Dragons that spam out those 8 drops, this can just blip them all away. Fu, this gets rid of his servants so they can't use that battle trick. It really is helpful in those matchups. I luckily didn't see them. And last one's Blue Impulse. I used it, I think. Oh yeah, I used it, I think, 3 times today.
Oh, there you go.
Both Kid 2 matchups, this was the MVP. Being able to just bait out their Chiatsu, bait out their Bulma, excuse me. And then as soon as they go to play that second card, you're just like, awesome, thank you, and we're just gonna wipe your butt.
Yep.
And then if they want to bunny drill, that's even better. You're still wasting resources. You did what you wanted.
No.
And that's really the whole side.
Well, thanks for showing off the list. Congrats again on getting your first place right there down in Niagara Falls with your cell deck. That's definitely a big shout out to Beer too for helping you out with the list. Yeah, before we close, anything you want to shout out? Anything like that?
It's really just to Game 3 and really the team. Beeryar, huge shout out to him. He's been practicing with me for I think 3.5 weeks now. Hard pressure. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have been able to do as well as I did.
Amen. Shout out to Beer. Well, congrats again, and thanks so much for showing off the list, man.
Of course, thank you.